Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Elevate Collection podcast. Y'all are in for such a treat today because we have the opportunity to not only elevate your playlist today, but also illuminate your playlist today. So today we are so pleased to welcome the Jordan Poyer. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. What an introduction. It is a blessing and a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me so much. And this beautiful, beautiful location that you guys found that I didn't even know was in Florida. So I'm definitely going to be coming back here. This is beautiful.
It is gorgeous. We're not going to lie.
What a vibe.
What a vibe. What a vibe for sure.
Wonderful. Well, we are so excited. As you know, the Elevate podcast is all about elevating the lives of others through influence and legacy. So tell us a little bit about you and your story and how we got here today.
Oh man, how much time we got? Holy cow! I mean, so I'm from a small town, Astoria, Oregon. As you tell people, Portland, Oregon, because not a lot of people on the East Coast even know where Oregon is, which is always interesting, right? I always have to explain, yeah, Oregon, it's above California. Really, I didn't even know, it was out there. You don't know how many times I get that, but then. A small town just about an hour and a half north of Portland, right at a beautiful location, right on the mouth of the Columbia River that meets right into the Pacific Ocean. And so beautiful, hilly area, small town. Everybody knew everybody. I grew up with, my stepdad who, I call my pops. He's raised me since I was, 2. He's Polynesian, and my mom, who's, everything in my life. Was from a small town, just played sports growing up. Was able to have a younger brother who, I competed with in all sports. He's about 3-4 years younger than me. And then ended up going to Oregon State, playing 4 years of football there. I actually played 2 years of baseball at Oregon State, which was, I always tell people I was a lot better at football or at baseball than I was at football. I just loved the game of football a lot more. It was a lot more exciting to me. And so, that was the path I pursued at Oregon State. Played 4 years at Oregon State. Ended up really wasn't even supposed to be there, but ended up being an all-consensus All-American. Got drafted to the Eagles in the 7th round in 2013. I spent half a season out there. Ended up going to Cleveland after Philadelphia cut me. I spent 3.5 seasons in Cleveland. Ended up having a pretty bad injury in my 4th year in the league. I lacerated my kidney. I got hit really hard. It was actually my last play in Cleveland. I was done for the season. Ended up signing in Buffalo in 2017, and that's where, things started to change in my life a little bit. I started playing really well 2017 to really 2021, 2022. I was in Buffalo for 7 years, that team was in a playoff drought for 20 years. We ended up breaking that drought in 2017, so it was cool to see that program, be part of that program, and really build that program. And then, things didn't work out last year with Buffalo, so I, they ended up releasing me, and I ended up coming down here to Miami, and I spent a year in Miami. It was tough, tested a lot of my spirits. I'm in a place right now. It's where, if you'd have told me 4 or 5 years ago, and the season that I had this year, I probably would have been off the edge or something, because it was tough, man. Coming from Buffalo to, the system that we had, the philosophy that we had, the structure that was going on, us collectively as a team, the camaraderie, and then coming in a, kind of night and day system to Miami, it was just different, right? And, we struggled on the field. Shoot, I didn't play as well as I wanted to play. That kind of, I had a lot of lessons within that season, but that was my 12th season in the league. I got a lot of bang, my fingers are all messed up, my knees are all messed up, my back hurts. And so I played 12 years. I was an all-pro, Pro Bowler at one point in my career. And I had a really good career. I had a great career, actually, to say, 7th round pick, pick 218 to the Philadelphia Eagles, from Astoria, Oregon, to play 12 years in the NFL. That's probably unheard of. So I'm thankful for all the experiences that I was able to gain, all the connections that I was able to meet through those experiences. But, within that, there were some a lot of trials and tribulations in my life, right? Like, you know, as a football player, we're so ego-driven and very, you know, that's kind of our identity, right? That was my identity. And, you know, on the field and off the field, I was Jordan the athlete, Jordan the football player. And I didn't know how to differentiate the two. And so when I would play good, you know, when I was off the field, I would celebrate good. You know, when I would play bad, you know, when I was off the field, I would celebrate bad. That's where a lot of my alcohol issues came in, right? And the alcohol issues is really what, you know, transformed my life. I'm thankful for all the lessons that I learned within, you know, those really a strong 5 years of heavy drinking, probably from the year I got hurt, 2016 to 2020. So yeah, a good 4 strong years of drinking. You know, I was drinking all in college. Just, you know, I could roll out of bed and drink and go to practice and come back and drink. It was crazy. I was living a crazy lifestyle.
Bodies don't bounce back the way they used to, though. Man,
Absolutely
that recovery is
not.
different.
Absolutely not. And, you know, I look back, and again, like, I'm thankful for all the lessons, but it created some havoc in my life, in my relationships, in you know, my mind, in my body. Sometimes I even feel like right now I'm taking, even though I've been clean for 4.5 years, sometimes I feel like I'm taking like the brute of, you know, as I play throughout the season, like, dang, like maybe if I didn't drink so much then, like my body would actually maybe feel a little better. I don't know. I don't like playing the what if game, but like that's sometimes how I can see it. And so, you know, now being sober for 4.5, 5 years, I ran into plant medicine, beautiful teacher, plant medicine, Mother Ayahuasca. And so it was about 2.5 years after I got sober. You know, I still had a lot of questions about, you know, why was I still unhappy? Why was I still having some of the same thoughts that I had when I was drinking? But now I don't have a crutch to really, like, fall back to. And so, like, I was battling my mind for the longest time, wondering why I have all this cool stuff, beautiful house, beautiful wife, you know, beautiful daughter, beautiful family. Everybody supports me. But it was like I was running away from what my soul was telling me who I really was, and just not trying to see and peel back the layers of, like, me, the traumatic stuff in my life, the bad decisions in my life. I was just running away from all of them. And Mother Aya called me, and I answered the call, and it really changed my life. And it gave me a whole new perspective on myself, the nature of reality around me, you know, where to put my energy. And I guess that's how you could say how we got to here today. You know, I had a vision while I was in a ceremony that, you know, for me, before I heard about plant medicine, you know, it was I had a very negative connotation towards the medicine, right? And it wasn't because of the medicine; it was because of my lack of awareness and lack of education towards the medicine. And I thought about that, and that always stuck with me, because I do think that in the Western culture, it is our lack of awareness and lack of education towards plant medicine that's keeping us from, call it, exploring more, wanting to know more. Not seeing it as, you know, oh, I'm gonna have, you know, scary, bad trip, whatever that may be, but really learning about these plant teachers and how we can incorporate their lessons in our lives. And I would say not every plant medicine is a psychedelic, obviously, but at the same time, like, you know, there's very powerful plant medicines out there that'll allow you to dive within and really allow you to see you for who you are. And I was finally able to see me for who I am, right? And my whole life I thought I was this football player. This was my purpose. This is why I'm here. And then, you know, when this is done, like, you know, it's like, enjoy your time now, because when this is done, you're not going to be nothing, right? And that was like how I thought. It was crazy. Like, that was like how my survival mode to, like, go out there and play. I just found so many answers for myself as I sat with Logan. He was the first guy I went to go sit with. We actually went out there alone, took a leap of faith. Said, hey, dude, I'm got some things going on in my life. I really want to go sit with this medicine that I just heard about. I've been studying. I don't know if I want to go alone. Would you come with me? And he was like, bro, he hit me. The way that it happened was crazy, but he basically said, yes, I'm there. So it was him and I, our shaman Pablo, team, Danny and Sarah. We sat in 3 beautiful ceremonies and really went to the depths of our mind, learned so much about me and this place that we're in, and, you know, just, and so when I came back, integration was really hard. I came back to Florida, Logan went back to New York, and I had this whole new profound idea of life, a whole new perspective. And, you know, they say integration is always fascinating when you come back because nobody's on that same understanding as you, right? And so, like, you want to be like, hey, sometimes you want to be like, yo, like, wake up. But you realize, like, you know, it doesn't work like that, right? I needed to learn how to embody what I learned so that other people then start asking questions, like my mom and like my brother, who I ended up taking back on the following year and sitting with them because they were interested. They saw the change in me. They saw the change in Logan. They saw how much happier we were. They saw how much more positive we were. They saw how much we didn't care about what anybody else is saying about me, this, that, or the other, because it doesn't matter, right? Like, what matters is me and how I move, my authenticity, my connection to the world. Beautiful bird flying by. It's a sign right there.
See?
You know?
I'm not crazy.
That bird has been kind of traveling. It's
Circling.
been waiting for this moment for sure.
Absolutely. It's all synchronicity. It's all signs. But I've spoken a lot. I mean, I could probably sit here all day and tell so many experiences that has allowed me to get to this point right here, right? Because they're all part of, you know, the same things that has allowed me. And I got so many more lessons to learn. I'm actually going to, in about 2 weeks, to sit with in Brazil with the tribe called the Yawanawa. I'm going to go to the Amazon. Irvin and I is going to be out there. It's like a 3 flights, 8-hour boat ride to a tribe. And I'm going to spend about a week and a half out there, really disconnected from civilization. Just want to learn. I just want to grow, experience, you know, in this world that we live in. There's so many things that is trying to take us from ourselves, right? Trying to disconnect us from ourselves, from God, from source. And, you know, I call it the matrix, right? It's just everything outside of us that's, you know, like last night when we were having we were in like our deep part of our meditation, right? And the cars started going off, right? Like the cars in the garage, the parking garage. And like, to me, like, I don't think anything happens on accident. Like, everything happens exactly how it's supposed to happen. And like, it's like the forces that be, like, I believe we're in a spiritual war, like a war on consciousness, a war on our minds, right? Like, and as much positive as we're doing, spreading the love that we're sharing, there's also the negative side of it that doesn't want that wants us to be disconnected from ourselves, that wants us to be arguing with each other about race, politics, religion, that wants us to be divided, that wants us to be all these low vibrational states of frequency of vibration, right? Like, all of those are just your lower self. Like, you know, we want to live in that highest version of ourself, that authenticity, that love, that gratitude, that joy, right? And a part of that is letting go of the belief system that you may have about somebody's perspective on you, right? And, you know, it's you know, it's stripping that those limiting beliefs in your mind that says, right, like, I shouldn't have this because X, Y, Z, or I don't deserve this because X, Y, Z, or I'm in this position because X, Y, Z. Like, you literally, your mind is the most powerful tool that we have, right? Like, as an athlete, we train our muscles all the time to perform, right? But like, our mind is more powerful than anything on this planet, but we neglect it. We forget to sit with our thoughts and to come with clarity. And there's a reason why they don't teach us this, right? There's a reason why it's part of the system. It's part of the system from we're yay big, right? From since you're born into a system that's telling you, here's your name, here's your, you know, date of birth, here's your social security number, damn near sometimes here's your religion, here's your political,
Here's this box.
here's this box.
This is where you're supposed to fit within the confines of this. So I think what you're speaking to reminds me of this like concept of we don't like not believing there's a box. And I think a part of this journey, just even honest to God from last night, of realizing that we are always trying to put ourselves or categorize ourselves into the spot, even as an athlete, like that's your identity, like that is what you do, that's your job, and like being able to separate that. But I think as humans, we have been conditioned to put ourselves in these boxes. And now what I feel like even last night really, I don't know, enlightened me to is, why do we believe that there is a box? Like, the box doesn't exist, like
At all.
Like there is no box. Like, but we place ourselves, and like even as entrepreneurs, like that is even that title. Like,
Right.
see, now I'm like
Right.
going crazy because I feel like all of these things are like, they aren't who we are. They're just these kind of like these attributes.
ideas.
But don't put baby in a box.
But it's so true, though, because we are entrepreneurs ourselves. And, you know, we got our start in real estate, and that is our day job. You know, we do real estate mostly in the sports and entertainment space. But when we were like, hey, we're going to start a community to, like, teach others what we're doing. And, you know, we are heavy on the meditation. We do a vision board party every year. Like, when we were like, hey, we're going to do these things, and we're going to meditate with our sphere, and we're going to put great things out into the universe, and we're going to create elevated spaces, which is our networking event that we try to have, you know, in elevated spaces kind of like this. And we're going to start a podcast. People, they didn't see the vision. They were like, what does that have to do with real estate?
What's a connection experience?
Well, yeah, what's a connection experience? And the amount of times that we have had to like combat imposter syndrome or wonder why are we doing this? Are we on the right path? Versus just listening to our soul and our intuition and being like, we are doing this. And I think that has like really shown up more for us in the past week or two. The connections, the people, nothing is a coincidence. Like, we are on the correct path. Like, even, you know, getting to come to your event last night, meeting Irvin, like everything is as it is. And one of the mentors in my life once told me that the path is perfect. We have to go through exactly what we went through to be where we are now. And I live by that. Like, it's true. The path is perfect.
Absolutely. No, and it's interesting you say that, because like, as I transition, you know, from football into this, you know, call it entrepreneur life. I don't even like putting a tag on it either, but like, you know, into life, right? You know, the season tested my spirits, right? And there were times where I did feel unbalanced, right? Just because I could see, like, the cars last night in our deep meditation, like I could see the matrix just like just trying to hit me with all of these negativity, and like there were times where I could tell that it was affecting me, right? And you know, the season is crazy, right? You work long days, 7 days a week, and you know, you're there from 7:30 in the morning till 5 at night with 100 different guys who got 100 different things going on in their heads, and you know, 100 different problems. So it's
I never thought about that. All that energy around
oh
you.
man, oh my goodness. And then like even the idea of, okay, now it's almost harder now that I was aware, right? Like, because before I never really paid attention to all of that. But now that I was aware of it, I could see it. It was almost more draining, you know, to have to, like, I don't like to say combat it, but to, like, try to put positive energy on it, right? Because it was tough. And so, but now, like I said, how it was, I felt unbalanced, and, like, there were things that synchronicities weren't lining up like I've felt before, and I just felt unbalanced. And, like, okay, like you said, these last 2-3 weeks since the seasons got over, we started to roll with Luminate. Things have started, like, I've started to do things that's, like, for me, not for the team. It's, like, for me. And, like you said, like, I started seeing synchronicities just start lining up as I just follow my heart. And there's a lot of people that are probably looking at me crazy. I know there's people that look at me crazy. Like, I'm an athlete that's talking about psychedelics. There's not many people doing that, but I want to do that. I want to be the pioneer that changes the narrative. Like, I don't care. I don't care. But I also know within my heart that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm, at least if I keep following my heart, that I'll be on the right page, and the synchronicities will keep happening, stuff like this, the connections will keep happening. And like, you're right. I mean, that's all it is. It's love is the answer. Just follow your heart. It's going to lead you in the right direction, and pay attention to the signs. That's being in each moment. Each moment gives us, you know, the bird flying over here, you know, the cars last night. Like, each moment gives us a lesson and an opportunity of growth. So, I mean, that's just how I look at life. That's how I see it.
I have a question for you. You talked about like this growth and then the whole integration aspect of it once you've done this. I found when I have those seasons of growth or personal self-development, those things, the integration is very difficult, because then now you find yourself, or at least for me, I found myself not necessarily comparing, but existing amongst people that I care about and trying to wrestle with wanting them to like rise up and meet you in this like season of growth and rise up to, or want to challenge them to better themselves. How have you been able to, one, I guess, have you experienced that in integration? And then two, if you have, how do you deal with that? Because it's not like you're trying to press and like push your change upon them, and you want them to just see your change and hopefully acquiesce or be inspired by it. But practically, at least for me, it is incredibly draining, and almost, I don't know, sometimes you want to like, you know what, maybe this relationship isn't for me. Maybe this friendship isn't something that I need. Maybe this job is something that I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
How did you navigate that?
You start kind of second guessing yourself, like wondering, is this the, what do they call it? Is this benefiting my soul? Is this, right? And, there's a lot of people in my life that, have their view, their opinion, whether it be on me or, on, how the world works. And, and some of them that I care deeply about. And so, like you come back from integration, and again, you want to shake people and be like, yo, like, wake up. But you realize, like, it doesn't work like that, because every soul is on its own timeline, right? Some souls aren't ready to be woken up in this time period, right? So we've all probably experienced multiple lives to even have this perspective on life right now, right? Like, we've probably had multiple lessons, multiple lives, multiple traumas that has allowed us to get to this place right now, to have this awareness to, I believe, where it's like you finally woke up after all those years and remembered who you were, and remember that you're a soul, and remember that you're infinite, and now you can spread that knowledge to the rest. And, if you keep walking in that path, that's the ascension. Like, that's the ascension of going to God. But if you don't remember who you are, and you come here on this physical planet and you live a life of all these low vibrational states, and then when you die, you're like, oh, dang, like, now I remember who I am. You go up to God, God's going to be like, you didn't remember, and you didn't go down there to learn the lessons that you were supposed to learn. So go back down there and learn the lessons that you were supposed to learn. And that's what I believe in reincarnation. And it's like, you think about it from the soul's perspective, like, our souls have been forever and will be infinite. Like, our soul, like, our consciousness is energy, right? And energy never dies, and energy's forever been. So, like, this, on this physical plane where I can knock, I can smell, I can touch, like, we're here from the soul's perspective, it's like that, because infinite is more than trillions and trillions and trillions of years. So, like, us here in this physical plane for 100 years is really not that long from the soul's perspective. And so when you look, that's kind of how I look at it, in the sense of like, okay, well, from the soul's perspective, you came here to learn, to experience, to grow. All of these, the lessons that you're going to take back to God when you die. But if you don't learn these lessons and you keep falling into that same trap, that's why you keep coming back here in this reincarnation period, so that you can remember that you are a more than just a physical being. You are eternal. We are all eternal. We are all part of the collective. We are all supposed to be here for a purpose. And and when you're born, it's like, you can go as deep as you want. Like I said, I go philosophy. It's like when you're born, when you're born, you forget that you're the soul, right? And that's why babies are the most pure. That's why a baby, when they're sad, they laugh, or when they're sad, they cry. When they're happy, they laugh. When they're hungry, they go, I'm hungry. Like, they express whatever emotion it is that they have in that moment. As you get older, you're conditioned to believe, hey, rub some dirt on it. Don't cry. Hey, this isn't the time for that. Hey, put your hand down. It's like, no, you can't go to the bathroom. You're conditioned into like keeping your feelings in and keeping your emotions in and not expressing those. So that's where you hold on to a lot of, like, somebody broke your heart and you want to cry, but you don't want to show them that you're heartbroken, and so you hold that in. So that energy that's stuck to you, that you know, from when you're 15 years old, from when you were heartbroken, that you didn't cry from, you didn't let it out, you didn't, I call it like purging, right? In plant medicine, like purging is crying, throwing up, releasing that energy. Now that energy is stuck with you in every relationship that you come across for the rest of your life until you put that negative energy to bed. You're gonna go back to that 15, 16-year-old self that got heartbroken, and now that energy is stuck with you to whoever else it is that you maybe want to be within your life, and you maybe don't want to take that step over that line because you got heartbroken back then. So you're not giving your full self to somebody. You're not giving your full authentic self to somebody. You're putting kind of a box or a mask on, or whatever you want to call it, a shield on, to not feel that same way. Instead of loving the idea that you got your heart broken and that it was a lesson for you. Yeah, it sucked. Okay, it sucked. But you learned from it, and it made you the person that you are today. And you hope whoever it was that broke your heart lives the best life that they live and is happy as heck, and you just sending them all the love, right? And now you can move on from that and now live in a life of alignment of how you want to live, and not instead of that 14-year-old self that doesn't even deserve to be, to be heartbroken. Like he does, like, does that make sense? Like the lesson is the heartbreak. Yeah, you can grieve for a couple weeks, but it's really, letting go of stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. And that's how I see the life.
I love it. This is so amazing. Okay, you've spent a lot of time investigating yourself, your beliefs, trying to figure out how to vibrate at a higher frequency. Something we talk about quite frequently when we're making decisions is scarcity mindset. How has your life changed since you've been vibrating at a higher frequency and not operating in scarcity or making those lower vibrational decisions?
Yeah, like I said, synchronicities, right? Like there's some weird stuff that, like, if I were to tell you, like, that is happening, that just happened on some random stuff,
We'd actually get it.
You would get it for sure. Like, you would get it for sure. It was, so I'll give you an example. Like, and synchronicities to me just, it lets me know that I'm living in that state, that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So when I see it, it's just like, well, let's go.
We call it a little God wink. Like,
Yes,
God's like, hey,
Yes.
you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
Like,
So, like, Tribe T, they were there last night at our event, Tariq and his team. And so I actually went over there, what day is it? Sunday. I went over there Friday night because one of his members at his Tribe T lounge had a dog named Peanut, and the dog died. But I had seen that dog at our Q&A event about a week before. First time I ever seen the dog. The guy Ryan and his wife Giselle came in with my jersey on the dog, and had me sign the dog and said, yeah, this is Peanut. And like 3 days later, the dog passed away, which was unfortunate. But Friday night they had like a little get together at the Tribe T Lounge where they were just kind of celebrating Peanut, and everybody was going around with a microphone inside, like giving their like love to Peanut. Hey Ryan, yeah, giving their memory or whatever. So as I walk in, I'm probably 25 minutes late. As I walk in, one of the guys grabs the mic. Literally as I walk in, he said, Brian, condolences, whatever. He said, my favorite memory of Peanut, man, just my favorite memory. I've been around Peanut forever. He's like, I'll never forget when Jordan Poyer signed that jersey. I'm walking in there, like literally as I walk in, and he's like, I'll never forget when Jordan Poyer signed that jersey. And like as I walk in, he said that. She sees me and she's like, Jordan's right there, and everybody like turns around and like, oh, Jordan's here. So it's just like weird stuff, right? Like it's just weird stuff. I'll be driving and there'll be a car next to me with a sticker on it that just says I love you. Like okay, like might be, I don't think that's weird, but it's like somebody else might be like, okay, it's just a sticker.
You're
but
reaching.
No, like,
People think you're reaching.
right?
Like,
but no, like the time, like I would have to leave at the time I left, and that person would have to leave at the time that they left, right? Like it's not a coincidence, right? Like there's a cosmic game being played out, and we just got to be paying attention. It's all the moments, every moment, all the time. It's actually fascinating. It's kind of like it's physics, right? Like energy. Like somebody had explained that to me like that one time. Like it's really just physics, like the energy that you put into the universe. You just pay attention, right? Like we complicate it. Like we complicate it.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, humans, we complicate it.
The answers are there.
It's right there, and they've been there the whole time.
But we get so excited. Oh my God.
I have so much to say. Well, I just want to tell you, like, this is such a moment for us because this all stems from December. Like, this has all been in the works since December. So we got a call and offered a private space in Miami to host an Art Basel event. Oh, wow. We had 2 weeks to plan it. And so we get in the throes of planning it, and the venue is like, never mind, this is you're in sports entertainment, that's not in alignment with our brand, whatever. But we had already kind of put the pieces in motion. So one day later, we were offered another venue. Wow. So we host this event. We have our attorney, Darren, speaking. Darren asked to bring Irvin. So Irvin comes and we meet Irvin. And then, we obviously hit it off with Irvin. And then we put this plan into motion. Well, then we couldn't make the first event, but then you were playing football. And so we got pushed back a little bit. But then in the week leading up to this, the documentary with ayahuasca, it was mentioned to us 3 times. And not only that, but this past week, 3 people have tried to introduce us to Adrian. Wow. Who was there last night. Awesome. Wow. So I'm like, for whatever reason,
we're supposed to all be here.
We are all supposed to be in this moment.
And I truly believe, like right, they call it the war on consciousness, the fight versus good and evil, right? Like, that's like how it works. Like in the last 2-3 weeks, I've made connections. Like tomorrow, I'm going to speak at a conference that, like, I met somebody last week. It's literally a psychedelic conference for millionaires. It's like it's like a foundation that your business has to have over X amount of millions of dollars to even just be recognized in this organization. And I got connected with somebody who's in the space that I met a couple weeks ago that I just had a conversation with a guy, and this guy's like, yo, I think it'd be dope if you came and spoke to these, these entrepreneurs, these business people on Monday for 30 minutes and just told your story. I looked at the thing, bro, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, so it's like God, source, the divine is connected. He's playing the cosmic game through us, right? Like, he's creating the synchronicities. But if you're not aware, you're gonna miss all of those signs. Like, there could have been a amount of time, like maybe you were just on your phone and you missed the moment of the introduction to Irvin, right? Because you were distracted by doing something over here. Irvin just walked by and you missed that introduction, right? I'm just throwing a scenario out there, right? Yeah. And so those are like the moments that, like, when opportunities, like, they present themselves, like, those are like the gifts from God. And sometimes those opportunities, like, we see them as like I'm scared to do this. Like, attack it. Like, where's this gonna happen? You gonna say no? Yep. Like, you know what I mean?
What's the worst that could happen?
Okay, so last year my word of the year was delusional, and it was because we pick one every year. So delusional, and I was like, I'm going to be so delusional that I'm just going to ask for everything. I'm going to be like, why wouldn't Jordan Poyer be on our podcast?
Yeah,
like,
why would you?
Why don't you just call Taylor up?
Yeah. I'm asking, what are they going to do? Say no? And so then we kind of got into the, like, I'm a chronic people pleaser, and so vibrating at a higher frequency has been a really big challenge for me. Like, I inherently, I come from a tough background. Like, I want to be loved. I want to be liked. So, like, it breaks my heart to think, like, maybe somebody wouldn't when I know I'm moving with positive intentions. Right. So this, being delusional, I've really had to get settled with the courage of being disliked. Like, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what the outcome is. I don't care. And I've really had to get comfortable with that courage of being disliked.
Sometimes the way that I look at it is like we're all connected, right? So like what you say about me is a reflection of, like, your insecurities
That's that
inside
mirror.
of you. Yes, it's the reflection. And so like if you're gonna like you getting mad at me because I did something in a football game, that's because you invest so much in your time that you don't need to be investing in watching me play. You can be doing a lot of other stuff, but you're so upset with your idea of like you spending your time watching me play that I worked very extremely hard to get to this point right now, and I'm not perfect, so I go out here and I play my very best, but you get upset at me because you're spending your Sunday when you could be doing a whole lot of other things in this beautiful world. Look at the ocean over there. We got a whole bunch of islands down the street, but you watching me. And you getting upset, so like that, I don't care.
And how are they mad at you? But
I don't
see, this
care.
is my issue with that, Ben, because I go back to my people pleasing reflects in understanding. Like I can be like, well, I don't care what you think about me, or I don't say I don't care. Like what you think about me is your issue, right? My issue is desiring and understanding behind it. Like, so you're mad at me because I did a good job for this, or you're mad at me, or like there's so many things. Like I don't understand. If I don't understand your why, I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense to me. Like if I was moving with positive intention and like my heart was pure going into something, and you still have this disdain for me now, or this frustration with me, or you treated me a certain way, I want to understand so badly. And that is something that even last night that I had to let go of, this desire for understanding. My people pleasing doesn't necessarily come from, if you don't like me, that's fine. I just want to understand why you don't like me.
Right.
That is what I'm learning to let go of. And last night there was a moment when it was towards the end of breathwork, I think it was breathwork, where I just was like sobbing uncontrollably, and like I wasn't able to recount exactly what I was releasing in that moment until like afterwards. And I was like, that's what that was for me, is this need to understand why someone may treat me a certain way or decides to do something toward me that impacts me. Like, why do I need to understand that? And it's just not necessarily meant for me to understand. And letting go of that was so freeing. Like you had asked, like, how do you feel? And I was like, light. And it was the burden of this need to understand.
We could do this all day long. We could. I love it so much. What is next?
What is next?
What's next?
Man, life. Shoot. Trying to figure my way out back downstairs because this was impossible to get up here. I don't know.
I'm glad you're here. You made it up.
As I transition and I continue to build, and we continue to build this conscious community with Luminate, I just really want to keep this momentum going, right? And I know there's going to be a lot of, call it, attacks on, the way we're moving. And I'm sure there's going to be some loopholes we're going to have to, fight through and whatnot, just because, the word is getting out there. People are starting to talk, and, I want to turn this into not just cacao, but eventually, have microdosing retreats, and I have ayahuasca retreats in Costa Rica, and so I really want to turn this into something and pioneer this, right? Because I do feel like nobody's doing it how we're doing it, right? Like I feel like we have a really cool thing going. Our team is really amazing at what we do. We have a really awesome model, and I do think we can just continue to build. I want to have a Luminate flag to where we call it the Luminate headquarters, where we're hosting multiple events a week. One night being a cacao, one night being maybe microdosing, one night being a breath work, and just having a place that people can come to hang out and call home, and that's my short vision plan. Long term plan, just keep building this collective community, this collective consciousness. We're in times right now, I think we can all feel it. The planet is shifting. Stars were aligned last night in perfect divine timing. So I hope everybody let go of what doesn't serve them and brings in what does, right? Because the planet is shifting. We can all feel it. And so we need to always tell people, like, we're always looking for answers externally to figure out what's the next move. And the answers are always inside. They've always been inside. We just have to learn how to tap into them. And my favorite modality is breath work. That's my absolute favorite modality because it puts me in a place where, like, it's not like crazy. You don't gotta do crazy breath work. I like crazy breath work, but it puts me in a place, it puts me right where I need to be, and allows me to have clarity, clear my mind. It's almost like having an iPad in my mind and just like organizing my mind to like how I need to move, right? And that's, I do breath work. We do breath work going into meditation. I love, I love sitting with mushrooms. That's always, it's always a good time. Go to the beach, take some mushrooms, just vibe, watch the ocean. Yeah, I got a really good team around me. My family supports me. I just want to keep, using my voice to help change and impact the world, and continue to walk my spiritual path as well. I don't know everything about everything, and I don't pretend like I do, but I do know a little bit about a little bit, and I have some experience, and I got some experiences coming up that I'll be able to continue to share and continue to learn and grow, adapt, and evolve. So I mean that's my plan.
Well, there is something that we ask every single person that comes on the podcast, and anytime, not even that, anytime we interact with someone, and we'd like to ask you, what is one thing that anyone listening to this, watching this, interacts with you, whatever, what is one thing that someone can do for you to help move your needle forward to that next chapter or to that next page turning?
Tell a stranger you love them. Tell someone you care about them. Tell someone you're seeing. Help someone just out of your own way. Just go out of your way. Just 1 second. Just tell someone, hello, how's your day? Ask them how their day is, right? Smile at someone. Give someone a hug, and hold them tight, and just we're all one. We're in a very divisive country, very divisive world. But as we continue to come together, we need each other more than ever. We need community. We need voices. We need healers. We need conversations to allow people to, find that light within, because we all have it. We all have it. We just have to find it, spark it just a little bit, just that little spark, and it'll start to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll start to feel it. I get goosebumps even just.
We just have to tell you, our parent company is called Something Sparked.
There you go. A nice little. Yeah, that's
we
nice
were at
little.
a retreat in Puerto Rico, and we were doing breath work last January. Mm-hmm. Probably about this time.
It was like January 16, 17, 18, somewhere around
there.
there.
Wow. Right about this time. And we were just finishing up breath work, and we opened our eyes. The room is still, and one single piece of confetti falls from the ceiling. And it sparked the idea for our company. And
I love that.
So our company is Something Sparked.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Another synchronicity. I'm like radiating with chills right now.
Well, thank you so much for
absolutely,
being here.
Absolutely.
This has been a delight. Thank
you for having me so much. And thank you guys for doing the work. I mean, this is important. These conversations, right? I always say, like, these higher elevated conversations. I don't like having conversations and talk about nothing anymore. Like, I don't like talking about nothing. Like these are the conversations I love to have, right? And these are the conversations that I think that we need to have and need to continue having. And just keep an open mind, right? There's a lot of stuff we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. I always like saying that. We don't know what we don't know. So just keep an open mind, open heart, and continue to love. And we have our retreats in March. If anybody's interested in wanting to come, we do have a couple of retreat spots open. If you want to go to our page, it's luminate.me/retreats. I think we have 3 or 4 spots open. If anybody wants to be interested in going to that, that'd be really cool.
Should we go to Costa Rica?
I think it might be a vibe.
Yes, it sounds like a vibe.
Check it out.
And we'll make sure we put all the links of all the things in the show notes and all that good stuff. Post about it. It'll be in the email that comes out when the episode drops and all that good stuff too. Amazing. And let's elevate and illuminate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Thanks so much, Jordan.